everyone. My name is Jeff, and I am a Xennial. What does that mean? Well, that means I grew up on classic Nelvana cartoons, and I expect you did too. So, it's recently come to light that animation powerhouse, the one of the big ones here in Canada, certainly, Nelvana, is going to be shutting down. This is a pretty unfortunate and sad news, and I just wanted to have a quick vlog style sort of video where we could talk about some of my favorite Nelvana shows. Maybe you can tell me about some of yours in the comments below, and together we can sort of pour one out for Nelvana. This is a non-comprehensive, non-news oriented video, and in fact this is going to largely be a remember this, remember that kind of a video. So if that's what you're looking for, come here and commiserate with me. Generally speaking, my channel is like a retro cartoon and, toys and games kind of it's a retro channel, right? And we just talk about retro stuff. With love and appreciation. I do love classic cartoons. I come from a production world. In fact, I was a producer at YTV working on The Zone for a year. So I have, some of these shows are near and dear to my heart, certainly. I have both professionally and more importantly, personally, grown up with a lot of Nelvana content. And it is sad, but the animation industry is really struggling. If you are interested in the actual news of this or other, sort of struggles in the animation world, I read a good article in Animation Magazine about it. And then I think really probably here on YouTube, the place to go is Clownfish TV did a really decent podcast that sort of covers news and reaction from a lot of people about this. And also I would point you toward I think her name is Millennial Liz or Liz Millennial. I don't know. I'll put you a link down to her. I think it's at Millennial or at Millennial. I don't know, man. I'm sorry. But I'll put the link down below to a few other people if you want more actual information about this, or you can just search it up. But the broad strokes are that Nelvana, which was an animation studio founded and started in Canada in the 1970s, early 70s, purchased by Chorus Entertainment in 2000, is now shutting down. But they were behind a massive, like a treasure trove of classic animation. And some, live action, lots of things that you would know and you would remember fondly or not fondly, perhaps. But I thought today, let's take some time and just look at, some of the best and the brightest. But like, if you want to really get a big list, like if you just go to their Wikipedia page and you start like looking down all of the stuff that they've worked on, be it created, produced, or even just distributed, it's insane. It's massive, and it covers the gamut of shows from Disney, shows on Nickelodeon, certainly shows that cross the Canadian spectrum of the Family Channel and the Cartoon Network and Disney Junior and Nick Jr. and all of YTV and all of the sort of the Canadian networks out there. But I think it's important to sort of recognize that we're losing something that really was very instrumental and very special to a lot of people, not just my age, but like they have consistently been making content, and some of it is some of it was beyond me. Some of it my kids watched when they were little, and so let's talk about it. So maybe first we should talk about the classics, really. Some of the big ones that Nelvana, sort of got going with were some of these early specials, including the Strawberry Shortcake specials. Those were in the early 80s, mid 80s, before the cartoon, but the first versions of Strawberry Shortcake. There was the Tintin show. Yeah, there was the Babar show. And Babar, I don't know if in the States it was quite as big, but certainly here in Canada, I think Babar had a pretty massive impact, as did Clifford the Big Red Dog. And Nelvana worked on some of the original specials for Clifford. And I know people, younger millennials probably will fondly remember the John Ritter Clifford show from the late 90s. Was that the late 90s? Yeah, I think so. But those original Clifford books, that's what I grew up with. I remember getting those at the Scholastic Book Fair when I was when I was a kid, and the Clifford stories were fantastic. It amazed me always that it took so long for a live action Clifford movie to get made. To mention, I think we all sort of grew up and grew out of some of these, but I want to mention some of the kids content, the little kids content, which I think, like Clifford, gets overlooked sometimes. Little kids content is like, and I know there's all these concerns about little kids and screens, but like when it's put together with consideration, shows like Little Bear, Max and Ruby, The Adventures of Chuck and Friends, Handy Manny, and Bubble Guppies, those are all shows that I think are fantastic. Nelvana also worked sometimes on later iterations of shows. So Nelvana has had a hand in some of the Thomas the Tank Engine later shows, has had a hand in Barney the Dinosaur later iterations of the show. It's great to see that that they kind of cover the gamut of those things. The only live action thing I really want to mention right here is TNT. I don't know if anyone remembers that. I doubt it. After the A-Team, probably, I guess this might have been before the Mr. T cartoon, Mr. T was looking for another like live action vehicle, and there was a show where I think he was a lawyer, and it was called TNT, and he was like, I don't know, Ted Turner or something. He was Mr. Turner. He was the lawyer, and there was another lawyer who was another T name. There was like Teller and Turner, so it was TNT, and they were like badass lawyers. It was pretty funny. Pretty funny to see Mr. T wearing glasses and being like smart and showing people up, because people underestimate Mr. T, but you should never underestimate Mr. T. I think a lot of people will remember Nelvana very fondly for their work on the Star Wars Holiday Special. Yes, the largely pushed aside Star Wars Holiday Special. Nelvana was the animation house behind the story of the Faithful Wookiee, which I think is the only truly sort of salvageable part of that holiday special at this point. I think that I'm not even sure if on Disney Plus the entire holiday special is there. It might be now, but certainly the Faithful Wookiee, which is the animated sort of segment, is there. And obviously, obviously to me, probably to people of my age, this holiday special came out between Star Wars and Empire, and it was the animated segment here was the first place where anyone got a chance to meet Boba Fett. So Boba Fett was introduced famously in this animated special. I actually did a reaction video to the animated special, and it's just on my Patreon. It didn't go up on YouTube for one reason or another, but still, it's a really fun and weird segment. It's got this very sort of 70s vibe to it with the way it's very almost Bakshi-esque, the way the animation is done. But fascinating project to have worked on for sure. Let's do a quick rundown of some of the most important, influential, or interesting Nelvana shows, and then we'll get into some of my favorites that we can talk about. I know one that probably is, for many people, maybe the most important show that they worked on was The Magic School Bus. Of course, that show had a huge staying power, had a massive impact on a ton of kids. It was a little after my time. That's basically all there was. As a Xennial, it's a real millennial kid show. But speaking of kid shows, I don't think you can ignore Franklin. I would say probably more to my age, the Berenstain Bears. Sorry, the Berenstain Bears. We're not getting into that right now. But I grew up on the Berenstain Bears books, and that Berenstain Bears show definitely I remember it fondly. Nelvana, as I said, did distribute a bunch of Nick shows as well, including just two I want to mention here. The first 5 seasons of Fairly Odd Parents, which, of course, anyone who knows kind of anything about animation knows how important that show is. It's up there with SpongeBob in terms of its impact level, I would say, for a lot of kids. But also the Backyardigans. Now that was a very, very cool show with some great music to it. Really, really cool to see. A newer show that they worked on, which I think is a great show and a good Canadian property, I think the author is from Montreal, is Scardy Squirrel. The TV show is very different than the book series, but I grew up reading the books to my kids, and I know when I worked at YTV, Scaredy Squirrel was on, and or maybe it was on Treehouse, I guess. But it's a really, actually a very good show, despite being wildly different than the books. But I would recommend Scaredy Squirrel as a show. They worked on a ton of the Beyblade shows. I'm not like overly familiar with that property, but I think they worked on the original as well as some of the later versions of Beyblade. But I think there have been a lot of iterations of that show. In terms of some of the classics and some of the adapted shows, the adaptations, I don't think we should not mention two in particular: Donkey Kong Country and Beetlejuice. Yeah. Two different, very wildly different properties, but Donkey Kong Country, of course, 3D animation, and I don't know if you would call it good, but for anyone who loved the games, you know, I feel like it was kind of a must-watch. And then for Beetlejuice, I've only said it twice now. I'm not going to say it again. It was a pretty key show, right? That was actually a kind of an awesome show. It had a cool theme song, and it was a lot of fun, you know? One of the first shows that I remember watching the movie of and then wanting to watch the show. Did you know that there was a Mad Balls TV show? There was. I've never seen it, but I like Mad Balls, so I should probably watch the show at some point. One that I did pay attention to was Braceface. That had a lot to do with Alicia Silverstone, though. And my age. Some other shows that they worked on, adaptations: the Incredible Crash Test Dummies, the Free Willy cartoon, the Never Ending Story cartoon, and Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, the cartoon. In a way you think, oh, these are just disposable cash grab kind of shows. But in another way, like, if you love those movies, those shows are like, it extends the story. I kind of love those shows. But let's get into some of the ones that I think are really my favorites, and we can watch some content along with it, okay? 1985 was, of course, a very big year for cartoons. One of the first toys to animated properties in theaters would have been the Care Bears cartoon. And the Care Bears movie came out after there were two television specials kind of testing the waters. And these were the original sort of like Care Bears coming down, helping kids manage their feelings, which, is the concept. But then before the show, this is the key, I think, before the TV show that everyone remembers and loves of the Care Bears, there was the Care Bears movie in theaters, 1985. Check this out.
Up above the clouds lies Care-a-Lot, the home of the warm and lovable Care Bears.
Care-a-Lot is a place
Oh, that music, too.
Come and visit Care-a-Lot and join Tenderheart.
I'm Tenderheart, a Care Bear.
Grumpy Bear, Baby Hugs and Tugs, and all the rest of the
Hugs
Care
and
Bear
Tugs?
family in their most thrilling adventure of all time, the Care Bears movie.
It's so crazy.
Share in the fun and excitement.
So they meet the
as
Care Bear
Bears
cousins
explore
in
intriguing
this
new
movie,
lands full of
but
music,
I swear I thought that was like way
laughter,
later
and
on.
merriment, and heartwarming feelings. You'll meet some new friends who'll help you discover that caring has never been so much fun. But be careful. Evil spells are lurking about. And they're just waiting for a chance to undo all the good that the Care Bears have done. And that's only the beginning. Even Care-a-Lot is no longer safe.
Good luck, Care Bears! We're counting on on you.
It's been a minute since I've seen this movie, but
will take the
oh
Care
boy.
Bears and their friends one step closer to their ultimate challenge.
Care Bears, stand!
Will all their love and caring stop a shadowy spirit from stealing away every feeling
I think
in
they
the
can
world?
stop it.
Join the Care Bears and all their friends, and you'll share a chuckle, a tear. You'll jump up and cheer.
Who jump up and cheer? Oh.
The Care Bears movie. Bring someone you care about.
Wow. What a sweet trailer. I mean, paced like way slower than you would have a modern trailer paced, obviously. That's like a 2.5 minute trailer. But I gotta say, like, it's funny because I always think about Care Bears and I think like, oh yeah, Hugs and Tugs or the Care Bear Cousins came in later. I was like, oh, I always thought there was a whole season of Care Bears before those guys came in. But no, not the case. Not the case at all. And it's been a minute since I've seen that movie, but I definitely remember that. And then especially the second movie, which I think I'm actually sure I know Nelvana also worked on. The second movie had really cool animation, like really like interesting animation in it. And I rented these movies so many times. It's been a while, but I rent because I was very young, I guess. But I remember when I was at the video store being a little kid, renting those movies like a bunch. Just good stuff, you know? Really good stuff. What do you remember about Inspector Gadget? This is actually one of the second or third production that Nelvana worked on. And I remember really fondly watching Inspector Gadget. I always thought Brain was the best. Inspector Gadget himself kind of bugged me, but the rest of that cast of characters I thought was so affable, so interesting. You know, the Chief, Penny, and Brain always sort of solving the case behind the scenes, and then Claw, always with Claw, and you never got to see him actually in the show, and you never got to see, and all you got to see was his cat. Remember this theme song though? Oh man, what a classic, right? Like I saw so many references to Mission Impossible and so many spy films and stuff here that like I wouldn't see the spy films that this was referencing for years probably. You know, this message will self-destruct. I probably had no idea what Mission Impossible was at the time. Come on. Convertible vehicle. This song's a real banger, right? Right. Brain doesn't talk. Brain's the dog. We don't. He's okay, don't worry. It's one of those kind of shows. Oh, so silly. But, you gotta love it, right? Inspector Gadget was like a big deal. I think that show really impacted kids. I think, now here's a question. Was Inspector Gadget a European show? Was it a French show? I don't think so. I think it was an American show, but I have, for some reason, I have associations of it with France. I don't know if anyone knows anything about that. Anyway, Inspector Gadget was a very cool show. Definitely got one I remember very fondly as a kid. As an animation fan, I think you might know this, but it's definitely from later than my time. I would say that I stumbled upon this show probably as a teen. I'm gonna guess, maybe older. I don't know, but it was a great show. It had so much character. It had so much life to it, and such a weird and interesting, imaginative storyline. I gotta give it up for Maggie and the Ferocious Beast.
Maggie and the ferocious beast in nowhere land. To nowhere land. Come along if you can. Hey ho, come on, let's go to nowhere.
Does anyone remember the name of the pig? I cannot recall.
And the ferocious beast.
Great googly moogly.
Oh man, great googly moogly. Those two, Maggie and the Beast, were like, what a pair. What a cool group. Definitely a show worth checking out if you haven't seen it. I believe the entire series is up on YouTube. If it is, I will put a link down below. Next, we have a real classic and one that I intend to do a reaction watch along with on the channel. There was only 13 episodes of this show, but it felt way more because it was so impactful, at least on me. This is My Pet Monster. It's crazy to think that there's only 13 episodes, and then there was a TV movie, which let's not talk about. But maybe it's because the toy was so cool. You know? It's one of those, like, it's like a Rainbow Bright scenario, where the toys were so big, you didn't realize that the show was pretty simple. He even eats the can. He's my best friend. Oh. Always causing a hassle for what's his name, Beaster, right? Nice. Gotta love My Pet Monster. Come on. What a cool theme song too, eh? All right, here's one that I barely remember this show, but man, how cool is Cadillacs and dinosaurs, right? I'm right, aren't I? Anytime you're taming, catching dinosaurs, that's a win in my books.
In the 26th century, mankind faces an epic struggle for survival. The
I gotta watch
forces of
this
nature
show.
have spun wildly out of control. Mighty cities have crumbled, and the dinosaurs have returned to reclaim
This is the
the
kind of
earth.
show I love, right? If you guys have watched my channel at all, you should know this is the show. This is my kind of show. Just cool from top to bottom.
In
So
this
cool.
savage land, one man stands alone, Jack Tenrek, defending humanity in a world gone mad. A world where only the strong survive. A
Yeah.
world of Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
Dang. Man, that guy's so cool. I wish I could be like Jack. Okay, so question to anyone who has watched my channel. Would you like me to do a reaction series to those to that show? I think I should probably do that, right? Okay, another cartoon that is on my list to definitely do a reaction series to. Let's give it up for RoboCop. Yeah, an R-rated movie getting its own cartoon show. What of it? They did the same thing for Police Academy, remember? I mean, I think a lot of families and kids did see Police Academy and just sort of brushed past all of the like craziness that was totally inappropriate for kids. But RoboCop. How many kids do you think saw RoboCop?
Detroit, the near future. Officer Alex J. Murphy and his partner Ann Lewis fight to rid the
I
decaying
understand,
city
like,
of the criminal
on
element
paper,
which
this is only
infests it.
one step
After
removed
being
from
mortally
Cops,
wounded in the line of duty,
but like,
Officer Murphy is outfitted by OCP with
it's
bullets
so
with titanium
violent,
robotic
that movie.
parts, and with computer-enhanced motor and sensory
Do you remember what he does
capabilities.
with that spike?
He has become the ultimate super cop.
Ultimate Super Cop. Okay, we don't need to watch the show. I would kind of like to, though. But, man, RoboCop. Yeah, the animated series. That's in the same line as, Ace Ventura and the one that shall not be named. And never-ending story, you know. A cartoon adaptation of a popular movie. It's something that I definitely can get behind because I love the lore. I love the expansion of the universe, you know. Someone out there is going to appreciate it, and that someone probably is me. Okay, just one or two more here. Let's take a look at Eek the Cat. Do you guys remember Eek the Cat? Kumbaya. What a cool character. What a cool cat. And it's not that all of the animation is so great. I mean, it's fine. But it's all in his head. This guy. Yes.
Phew.
Oh. This is a cat that things just do not go so well for. It's like the anti-Garfield, you know? But just cool stories, cool animation, wacky and zany kind of shows. You want to talk about wacky? Eek is wacky. Man, I should watch some Eek the Cat. Oh, Eek. Classic Eek the Cat. So now we come to near the end. Let's look at two of my absolute favorites. And when I tell you the first one, I think you're going to probably know the second one. But of course, it's Ewoks. You know, as a Xennial, the Star Wars movies were so key, like so important in my life. And how could I continue that sort of love and appreciation for Star Wars every Saturday morning with the cartoons, of course. God. Remember this song? Just so cool. This song is like burned in my brain. And you know what's really unfortunate, I think, is that on Disney Plus, they took this song. I don't think this song is on the cartoon in Disney Plus. I don't think I have it anymore. I had the VHS tape of the Ewoks, where there was like some select episodes when that came out in the 90s. I think I got that when I worked at Blockbuster, actually. Oh man, look at these guys. Wicket, Poplu. What's the girl's name again? Something with an L. Chief Chirpa, right? Oh man. You know, I can't understand Lucasfilm. They changed that song for season 2 for some reason, to a different, much more boring song. But that season 1 song, opening theme song, is just like, I will never be able to remove it from my brain. It is a wonderful, wonderful earworm that kind of just makes me happy. And there are days when I wake up and I gotta say, like, I'm not feeling great. I'm having kind of a midday, and like, all I really want to do is just like curl up on a couch and watch Ewoks, because I know that would make me feel better. You know? Do you guys have those days? Let's talk one more nostalgic cartoon. This one I think is maybe one of the greatest cartoon openings of all time. I got a real thing for futuristic grid lines. It's just a thing. It's a thing. You see it in the Mask cartoon. You see it in the opening to the 2000, was it 2000? Maybe late 90s Johnny Quest cartoon. And you see it here to its best effect. It's droids, of course. Yes. Even though C-3PO was never my favorite, even as a kid, yeah, the droids cartoon is awesome. God, this song is such a banger. It's so futuristic. It's true, they're always helping each other out. But it's a dangerous affair. Got me in trouble again. In trouble. Man, how cool is that, right? Oh, you can't beat it. You can't beat it. I got to tell you, ever since I had like an iPod Touch, I guess, when the iPods first came out, like before the iPhone came out, I have had the Droids series, the entire series. I'm sure I downloaded it off Kazaa or something back in the day. I have had the whole series just sitting on my phone. And sometimes I'll be on a train or something, and I'll just pull it out and I'll just start watching episodes of Droids. You know, they only had a few episodes of that show, but that show is great. The stories are broken up into 3-parters, generally. And it's just, you know, there's, you know, a little 3-episode arc of them with this master doing this cool adventure, and then with that master doing that cool adventure. It really introduced much more of the sort of larger picture of the underground world of the Star Wars universe, like with various bounty hunters and the mob, essentially. You know, there's adventure and racing and giant beasts and monsters and all the cool stuff that you love from Star Wars. Droids was like kind of a magical show in my mind. It's a kind of a travesty that it is like non-canon and that it is, you know, it's not very well seen, I think, at this point. If you can bring yourself to explore the Star Wars Legends, you know, universe, I know there's a lot of Star Wars content out there, but like in terms of the classics, I think that Droids is the way to go. So, what is your favorite Nelvana cartoon? Mine is hands down easily Droids. But, you know, they do these things in partnership with, in this case, Lucasfilm or Nickelodeon or Disney or whoever, you know. Some of them, a few of them, they've wholly owned themselves. Some of them they've only distributed, you know. But Nelvana's had, you know, touch points with, you know, major and important and impactful cartoon franchises for like, well, since the 70s, you know, certainly the 80s through today. And it's a real shame that they're going away. We still, of course, have the classics. But you know, I think that it's a real loss for the industry and for all of us fans out there. So raise a glass to Nelvana. Let me know your favorite Nelvana cartoon in the comments down below. And thanks everyone for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.